Kunstkarawane, in English Caravan of Arts, is a creative children movement for peace and understanding in East Africa, initialized by the Company of Creatives, different artists from all over the world. In cooperation with Supertecture, a secret architectural intelligence for peace and happiness, Siki League Africa, the Congolese cultural initiative from former child soldier Yves Nagano, and Root Foundation, a Rwandese NGO for the support of unprivileged street children, we are going to build an international cross-border hub for all different kinds of art right between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. This particular region, around Lake Kivu, is located at the very heart of the African continent and globally seen not that far away from Europe. People, politics and society over there are often mistaken as underdeveloped and violent. Here are some background facts for you. Africa's second biggest country, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and its tiny neighbor Rwanda are divided by super beautiful Lake Kivu. Like everywhere in Africa, Europeans once came here to find free resources and labor. In the case of Africa's very heart of resources, the Congo, colonizers couldn't agree on a single owner, so they gave the whole huge land to the king of a little neutral European country that was 100 times smaller as the Congo itself. Accordingly, the king was quite over-challenged and super brutal to his African followers. In the case of Rwanda, colonizers ruled by dividing people artificially into rivaling ethnic groups. When colonizers went back home to Europe, those undemocratic times were ending so sudden that brand new governments often ruled even worse than their colonial oppressors. Congo, for example, became home of the longest and most corrupt dictatorship in African history, and in Rwanda, the artificial division in different ethnic groups led to the Rwandese tragic genocide with about 1 million victims in less than 100 days. During genocide, 100,000 refugees and their brutal murders brought the conflict to Congo. Even our international peacekeeping troops were so scared that they left the region as fast as they could, probably the biggest mistake in United Nations history. After Rwandese soldiers from abroad, captained by Rwanda's later president, could finally defeat the genocide forces in Rwanda, the situation changed completely and former murderers became refugees now. Hunted by the country's liberators, those refugees basically escaped to the Congo as well. This resulted in massive conflicts between liberated Rwanda and the infiltrated Congolese Kivu region. Armed conflicts in the region soon became extremely confusing and a playground for a great number of unofficial military rebel groups. The dispute between Rwanda and Congo finally escalated in 3 official Congolese wars, whereof the second alone caused more than 5 million deaths and another 2 million refugees. Because of the direct involvement of 9 African countries, this conflict is in fact considered as the first African World War. Summarized, Rwanda's genocide and the related fall of Congo's dictator kicked off a not yet ending series of wars in Central Africa. Besides violence and massive violation of women, civilians during those conflicts mainly suffered from the military use of children and child labor in mines of valuable minerals. These resources and their illegal exploitation have mainly financed all the region's wars, and they have always been the major motivation for other countries to interfere in the region conflicts. Unfortunately, the Congo has always answered the world's latest resource demand. Here are some examples. Ivory for colonial crafts, caoutchouc for European rubber tires, copper for weapons in World War I, uranium to benefit from nuclear energy, diamonds for jewelry, and nowadays coltan as a substance in all our digital products. Against this background of never-ending conflict and exploitation, it can't be enough just to hope for political progress. Why not supporting local artists in their fight for reconciliation with a platform for non-verbal, creative and peaceful communication of their criticism, ideas and dreams? A built cross-border handshake for doing, presenting, exchanging and admiring art. In such a center, especially the region's unprivileged kids shall benefit from offered workshops, tools and space to express themselves. With every child's unique ability to appreciate our world as simple and beautiful as it actually is, those confident ambassadors of future generation, equipped with cameras, musical instruments, brushes and paint, will invent role models for a peaceful coexistence without everybody's outdated stereotype, fears and prejudices. Their images will disagree with all the usually broadcasted reports from Lake Kivu's disaster journalism with cliches from the unhappy continent of misery. Isn't it time for positive change and to rather learn about the region's marvelous nature, endless rainforests, gorillas, volcanoes, and of course all the upright and joyful people? And wouldn't a creative contribution to peace eventually be a motor for social projects dealing, for example, with education, healthcare and housing? Lake Kivu's first art center will start with an initial workshop with local kids, parents, involved artists and architects. In this way, everybody can learn about the participants' different necessities and the creative hub can be built as sensitive to their needs as possible. During these workshops, we are not only discussing but actually constructing the literal flagship of the Four Scene Cultural Center. We are going to build a floating festival. 2 floats, each manufactured and harboring at one of the lake's 2 different coasts, will serve as hubs to perform and enjoy concerts, dance, and theater. After being built, these 2 floats will join each other right in the middle of Lake Kivu for the lake's first cross-border art festival. Both of the floats will fulfill different purposes and they can operate attached as well as apart from each other, for example as independent tribunes on stages, a combined multifunctional space, a multi-purpose arena, joint tribunes, a big stage, and with individual rooms for storage and relaxation. Thanks for watching and your support.